Man, time flies. Seems like I just do one of these lives and it's like, poof, doing another one. Hope everyone's weekend went well. Back to work. Rock the watches here. Whoa, whoa, don't fall over. Bill K chiming in. Let's see. Wilson chiming in. So Wilson was asking earlier if I was doing the live at 8 or 9. Apparently I'm doing it at 8. Kevin chiming in from sunny, warm Florida. Still not warm here in northern Michigan. My buddy Calico Basin is chiming in from the sunny desert. Randy Marsh is asking, have you checked out the Squale Corsa Italiano? I believe I have looked at pictures of it. I haven't handled one yet, but I'm hoping to at some point. Bean Boy checking in. My buddy Tennessee Mike chiming in. Hopefully everyone's wearing their best today. Homer's checking in. Cowboy Swami. I wore the sub today, and I did a ton of actual like pipe wrenching and stuff today. Pretty brutal. No problems with it though. Steve chiming in from sunny California. Tuxedo Manners here. Uh, have I checked out the Nautilus Tiffany dial? Just pictures. Let's see. Jeffrey chiming in. Thanks for being here. Mark. Slop John checking in. Wilson wore the Casio. Interesting. I didn't even know you had that one. Guys, every time I don't wear this a ton, but when I do, like I realize how perfect this watch is. And yeah, I'm starting to get a couple scratches here and there too. Not even mad about it because this is a long haul watch. Easy Taz chiming in. Floyd checking in says, hey y'all. Must be from the south. Nate Dogg's here. Stuart's here. Everybody's rolling in. 8 o'clock. I don't know when I'll switch to the 9 o'clock at some point. It'll probably be like, I don't know, when it's warmer and longer days. Chris from the Watch Lounge checking in. He wore the Seiko Nano Universe today, slumming it down in the Seiko 5 world when he's got access to some ball and watches. So that's pretty cool. Ken Spear checking in from Pittsburgh. Matt, Rock the Watch, is wearing his Grand Seiko Snowflake. And now he switched over to a Seiko chronograph. Weeby checking in. I have some fun watches on the table. Other than, honestly, if I were to remove the Dorenzo, I have no divers on the table. They're all just like sport, dress, and casual type watch. So let's see. What's the chronograph on the left? Randy wants to know. This is I just opened it up. It's called a Hoffman, and it's pretty dang nice looking watch. Sapphire crystal. Kind of has that like Dan Henry vibe to it, but I don't know. For some reason, it feels like a little more robust than a Dan Henry. I don't know if that's just because I haven't handled a Dan Henry in a while, but yeah, Hoffman. Let me try to grab some comments here. Ryan D checking in. So that was the chronograph. Teddy's checking in from Fort Worth wearing a limited edition Prospex. Tennessee Mike says the green dial Formex. Yes, I just opened this as well. I was talking to Marcus from Formex, and he sent this guy over. Full titanium, great looking watch. Screw down crown, 150 meter water resist. Instant date change. Sandwich dial. And it has strap options, but honestly, this leather that it is on is fantastic. And it has their signature clasp system. Titanium there, and then this is like their carbon resin type material, which I think it has a, yeah, I think this is like a quick adjust. So you can quick adjust this in and out a little bit. And yeah, Mike, I will get the Swiss Watch Company model in too. I'll hit those guys up. I know they're super busy, so maybe they forget about me. Let's see. There was mention of the Atticus. I just opened these up as well. A couple of 38 millimeters. I absolutely love this off-white dial one. This one's really cool too. It's very like German, like Zinn, Damasco, um, Decla looking type watch. But this cream dial one, home run. Absolutely love this one. Like I think that's easily my pick from there. Ryan, yeah, Formex does have a dive watch that you can do different bezel swaps on it. Try to scroll back up and read some comments here real quick, guys. Hold on a second. Biza says, Mimo hooked him up again. That's awesome. Mimo's the best. Kevin Powell, you know I got to ask for a side-by-side with the Tudor and the Atticus. I can do that. I can do that right now. So 38 millimeter on the Atticus, 36 millimeter on this Tudor. So quite the size change up there. But maybe 36 is perfect for your wrist. Maybe 38 is perfect for your wrist. So it is all really just going to depend on what your taste are and what your wrist size is and everything like that. Chris, yeah, I did see your picture earlier. I don't remember where I saw it, but it says his car got totaled. Yeah, it was hit and run. It was parked, so no one was damaged. So, what is the right one salmon? This is a Zelos. Excuse me, because I don't know the name of it. Is it on the back? Sapphire 25 of 60. Hand wound. I don't know what model this is. There's going to be some Zelos experts in the chat. Maybe chime in and just say what model this is, please, because I'm not 100% sure. I do see I missed a super chat too. Hold on, let me scroll back up here because the comments are hard to keep up with. Where the heck did that super chat go? Okay, is there just the one? Okay, so I got Cowboy Swami for sure. 499 super chat says, what you think of the Seiko 9S A5 movement, supposedly more efficient than Omega coaxial movement? Cowboy Swami, I'm not super well versed in like that depth of the movements. Seiko makes some spectacular movements, but I don't know, it's hard to beat the coaxial design. So I'd have to do some digging on that. As far as efficiency go, it wouldn't surprise me, but Ali's saying he thinks it's the Zelos Comet. William says he thinks it's the Nova. I do not know 100% for sure, guys, but it is a stunning watch nonetheless. It has an ETA hand wind movement, a couple of turns there, and you can see the small seconds is already ticking. But the dial, I mean, can I zoom in? I think I can zoom in. Look at the dial on this thing. That is absolutely stunning. So it's the Nova, these guys are saying. The dial, I mean, this is a, and I bet you anything, it's a pretty affordable watch. This is a stunning watch. In contrast, you know, another salmon dial, but a shimmery salmon dial is this Islander automatic. Again, very cool, very nice looking, and way more affordable. It looks like a Miyota movement in it too, so probably a little bit thinner, but I would easily take that salmon dial from the Zelos over the Islander in a heartbeat. That thing is killer looking. Yeah, the Comet's not out yet. You guys are saying it's been a while since I've had a Zelos on. I've talked to them. They were going to send one. They haven't sent one, so I don't know what's going on. And I'm guessing those are probably sized too small for my wrist. But I could probably get it. I can get it on wrist, but I can't clasp it. Yeah, I'm not a salmon dial type guy as far as like what I would wear, but man, this thing is the bracelet is killer too. If I needed a dress style watch, yeah, this thing's pretty slick. As is the Tudor. Oh man, I can barely even get it on wrist. It's probably gonna get stuck. There's the 36 on my wrist. I would easily wear the 41. YZ80 saying, hopefully Elshin will send me the spearfish. I've reached out to those guys, but man, I don't know if I'm blacklisted with them or what. I don't know. Oh man, this is. I need to tighten this up a little bit. This thing is super. This leather is beautiful on wrist. Can I? Nope, I need to jump holes here. Spring is here. How do I move this one hole? I don't want to damage this. No, I'm sure they didn't blacklist me, but it's just it's weird because like they were working with me nonstop, and now they're like sending watches to different channels and not mine. But whatever. I listen. I have to ask Formex where they got this leather because this leather is is the most soft, comfortable leather I've ever tried. This stuff is amazing, and I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure you can buy just their straps. Maybe I don't know, but that thing is this thing is really good on wrist. Yeah, Calico. I'm not. It's not like I'm calling them out. I'm stating a fact. You know, they used to work with me. Now they don't. You know, maybe they're. I'm sure they're super busy as is everyone else. So, you know, like it is what it is, sort of thing. It's not. I'm not mad about it. I'm sure they're not mad about it. Is they'll either send watches or they won't, and I'll either do the videos on them or I won't. It is what it is. There is no shortage of watches to do videos on. I think, clearly displayed that fact when I was just talking to Calico earlier today about that. Um, like, I don't even know how many videos I have out right now, like 3,000 ish or something like that. And now I know they're not all individual watch videos, but I've handled easily a couple thousand different watches. So Jeffrey said, well, Jeffrey, yeah, I mean, you met up with Marcus and everything. So, and I'll be meeting up with Marcus from Formex out in San Francisco here soon. I really like this Atticus, guys. I'm digging this. I'll have to get a size, but check how they did the bracelet because it might look a little weird, but you're not going to see this. But this is an H link. They switched over. So this first part here is like this H link, but it's done a little bit different because the center link of the H actually has a little kick out. And then they transitioned into these short links so you can get the sizing just right on this watch. But really what you're going to see is like that part. This part's going to be under the wrist. You're not really going to see that. So pretty interesting design feature there. I think I like it. I really like this dial layout. Huge fan of that color they picked. Let's see. Ali says, any suggestions for a Salmon dial 4042 mil? All I can say is I'm blown away how good this Zelos is. So maybe go check their website or just past watches. If they have a Salmon dial and a 40 or 42, I would just I would just get the Zelos. I mean, this thing is stunning. Certainly, if you can find something with this amount of texture on it. I mean, the delicate handset on this, they outdid themselves on this one, or Elshin. I'm sure there's more than just Elshin doing it, but VTSV is wearing a new Seiko Captain Willard. Very nice. Calico Basin, yes. Also, great choice. I forgot about that one. Mont Blanc has a very nice salmon dial watch. And you can find, sometimes you can find deals on them. Reading comments. YZ80 says Zelos did a swordfish 40 in the salmon dial if you want to go with like a diver. I feel like salmon dials shouldn't be on divers, but what do I know? Mitch says Baltic just came out with a really nice salmon dial as well. Baltic's a little bit smaller though, 36, 38, something like that. The watch verdict says, just FYI, guys, when referring to San Francisco, don't say San Fran. Why not? I'm going to call it San Fran now because you told me not to. Isaac says, with all those watches, you ever just wear just two for the heck of it? Like two at once? Yeah, I've done it a few times, not a bunch. Joshua says, very, very solid point. Joshua made a comment. Recommend trying on a salmon dial watch before you buy one. He bought the Mont Blanc and hated it on wrist. He said it looked terrible. So, very solid point. Like, I love looking at them, but there's no way I would wear one. Look at the Yamaha. Trying to read some comments here. The watch verdict says it's known as the city or SF. That's San Fran. How about Frisco? We can call it Frisco. Frisky Frisco. Do I still have the Citizen NY0040 in your collection? No, I've had many of them and they're long gone. Richie says Axios Pathfinder in pink dial is sweet as well. Isaac is from San Jose, California. He calls it San Fran all the time. Frisco works too. AZ says Zelos Nova Salmon 38 millimeter on strap has been sold out. Brings up Josh, exactly. The same thing happens to me because, like, we're, or I am like a Caucasian white dude. And a lot of times, like right now, my skin will look red or pinkish. So when you put a pink watch on there, it looks like more pink. So, Tom for Watches chiming in. Kevin S. here. Dark Star, City on the Bay. Jeffrey says he has a Salmon Dial Islander and he has yet to wear it outside of the house. Why did I get rid of the Citizen? I get asked that question all the time, guys. Why do I get rid of any watch? I don't know how to explain this. I have a watch YouTube channel. I'm a watch obsessive. I post 1 to 2 videos of watches every day. There's no way I can keep these watches. 99% of the watches that come across this desk are not even my watch. I don't own as many watches as people think I do. I own more than I think I do, but I own way less than people think I do. So I don't know if I can condense down. I almost need to make a video, I think, just explaining. I sell watches. I don't think I've ever really sold a watch because it was bad or I didn't like it or anything like that. I sell watches because I'm ready to move on and experience something else. Arc in the Box. Why didn't you grab the MRG Square? I just did a video on one. I'm going to probably do the video on the black one. I don't need to own it. I don't wear them. I have too many watches already that I'm focusing on wearing. So I can't just keep buying watches that I'm not going to wear. It doesn't make sense, right? Let's see. Jeremy said he picked up the Seiko SPB 185 Steelmaster MM200 Reduced. Love that. William Rizzo says whoever dies with the most watches wins. There's no way I can compete with that. Let's see. Steele's asking what is the Bicompax chrono on the left. This thing is a very interesting watch. It's a Hoffman, and it looks like it has a ceramic bezel insert, and it has a really nice, rich, I don't know what color we're going to call that, but it's beyond off-white. It's like antique off-white or something, but I don't even know if is that I'm assuming that's a Mecha Quartz. Racing 40. But pretty simple, good looking watch. It was now Brian sent it in and it was on like a silicone strap, but I don't know why he did that. This leather strap that it's on is actually pretty nice. I'm sure it's a inexpensive watch and an expensive. Okay, time for watches. Honey mustard dial. I'd go with that. It's Grey Poupon. Yellow snow, Kevin S says. MM10 says he doesn't know how to flip. You've done just fine. Also, you never made the video of the Breitling versus Longines. Which models? I still have my Big Eye and I have a couple of Breitling. I'm not sure which ones you're looking at, but great looking watch. Just hearing a lot of bad stories on the VK Mecha Quartz movement in terms of long-term durability. Lots of issues with the second hand resetting back to 12 properly. I think there's a way to fix that. I'm not 100% sure. This one actually doesn't even line up. Well, it just snapped back perfect there. I could have swore there's a way to like reset that hand. I know what you're talking about, but I think you can remedy that. Stefano is asking, what do I think of the new Christopher Ward C63 limited edition? If you're talking about the blue yellow one, that's I forget how many they're making, like 300 for the Ukraine fundraising thing. I think that's really cool. I'd like to see like split dials like that with the colorway. A while ago, Glycine actually did an ad campaign showing the 4 rich colors they were going to do, and they did it in a quadrant on the dial, but it had all 4 colors, and they were just showing you what the colors would look like. But I wanted to see like that watch made because they mismatched the bezel on it too. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if anybody over at Glycine's listening, but the photo they posted for their ad campaigns actually make that watch. Forget about making the individual colors. Pull the crown out, one space, and push the second pusher. Jeffrey, right there. So maybe I'll do a video if there already isn't. So with the Mecha Quartz, I guess you pull the crown out one space, push the second pusher, and then it'll go around. MM10 Michaels is asking, what do you think the Swatch X Omega will be? I don't know. I see the teasers and stuff like that, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not really following it with any sort of anticipation. Like, I guess I just don't care because I don't see myself buying a Swatch, and there isn't any like current model Omegas that really excite me to the level where I'm gonna like flip something else to buy one or something. So. MM10 says he's excited about the upcoming Longines GMT. They teased that. That actually does look really good. Steele says Breitling chronographs are so good. Did you know Breitling is credited with inventing the dual pusher chrono? Prior to that, all chronos were single. Yes, I did know that, and I do agree. The chronographs from Breitling are very good. Jelly Omega. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they do, but Swatch. Would you consider selling Zelos? That's not mine, so I don't own any Zelos. That's actually Brian's. Actually, this one, this one, this one are all actually in this one a broken ceramic Rado. Unfortunately, got to be careful with those ceramic watches, right? Those are all Brian's. He sent them in. I finally got to them, so I'll be busting those videos out soon. I don't think he's selling those. I gotta check with him. Calico says, show my. I do own a Swatch, and I don't think I can get it in frame. I know you're half kidding, but I would probably make too big of a mess. I can't get it in frame. It's one of those. It's like it's taller than me. I think it's like 6 feet tall. It's one of those ones you hang on the wall. The Swatch. It's pretty sweet. That's about the only Swatch I'll buy. William Rizzo says, "How about the new Tissot mechanical chronograph? I definitely want to see one of those. Those look great." Calico, I don't think I can get it the way it's articulated. I don't think I can get it in frame. Mitch says, "Do you think Seaward will reconfigure the dial on their Trident divers to be symmetrical like the C63 are?" Yes, I think they will. Clam, "I want a PRX now, but they keep coming out with new versions." That could play to your favor, really. Let's see. There's looters everywhere. Kevin asks, "How's the Tudor Black Bay 41 silver dial on the table?" Let's see that. It's actually a 36 millimeter. Taking the Tissot. Tennessee Mike says, "Move my camera." No, because my room's a mess and I don't want you to. It's not lit up over there. This is actually a 36 millimeter. I love those snowflake hands though. Calico is asking, "Are the Seiko dive wall clocks worth $85? I have a Canadian hookup, not sure it's worth it." They have I have one right here. It's a, I don't know, again, I don't know if you can see it in frame, but it's a smooth sweep. I don't have the battery in it. And then the loom on it isn't that great, but the hour, minute, and the indices are all loomed. It's kind of fun, but it's not, I don't know. I think there's other models to choose from too. Stuart is also looking forward to the 39 millimeter glycine. Kevin wants to see. I barely squeezed it on earlier, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna. I mean, if I micro adjust it out, I might be able to do it. Let me micro adjust it out. It was very, very tight on my wrist because it's not sized for my wrist. I couldn't. There's no way I'd be able to close the clasp. But let me micro adjust this out real quick. All right, so I got that micro adjusted out. It's still snug on my wrist, but yeah, there's no way I can close the clasp. But I mean, I could wear a 36. Like, I don't really think it'd be a big deal, especially the silver dial because it's gonna wear a little bit bigger. But the 41 is gonna work better for my wrist is probably like just under 7 1/4, maybe 7 1/8, even close to that. So yeah, I mean, if you like the smaller watches, just get the 36 because the 41 is almost like a little bit too big, but it does work. What is this? Calico with a $2 hair super chat. Triple dare get $4.99 super. What are you talking about? Have you reviewed the G-Shock GBD 200? I'm kind of fixated on picking one up. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah, anonymous watch guy says he has the 41 millimeter, 7.5 inch wrist, loves it. Perfect. Yep, I agree. Yeah, or like, see, that's just the thing. Like MM10 just pointed out, our friend John has a 7 1/4 inch wrist, very similar to mine, and he just bought that actual same watch, the 36 mil silver dial, and he loves it. He wears it, not a problem. Oh, he wants to see the swatch. I legit don't think I can get it in frame, and I don't feel like moving the camera around. I mean, I guess I can. Hold on. You guys are gonna see a little bit. I'm gonna try to move slow so no one gets sick. There's my signed poster from the Michigan meet. There's a G-Shock thing. There's like almost 30 watches there that I don't. There's my bin system. There's the swatch, right there. So it goes all the way up to the ceiling and it goes all the way down to the floor. All right. Mini tour of the room. So I still need to do the floor, and I need to redo my desk configuration, and then I'll be able to do the whole room tour. Wrist shot now, empty wrist. Oh, wrist shot of the, yeah, right. I can't. There's no way. Craig G, yeah, I actually did shiplap on the ceiling, and then I did. If we scroll up, you guys obviously you can see all the postcards. I still have a few more postcards to go on, but if you scroll all the way up, I did all that foam paneling, like everywhere. All right, so easy does it. Wear it like a belt, Kevin. Yeah, I would pretty much have to wear it like a WWF like title belt or something. Biza says, stupid question, but what's the best way to measure a wrist? So, I mean, typically you're going to have some sort of piece of fabric or something that you can wrap around your wrist and then mark it and then lay it out flat and take a tape measure and then measure that. That's probably like the most universal way to do it. But, or if you're somebody in the house maybe has one of those fabric, what do you call it? Tape measures. You could do it that way. Yeah, steal that old drawing. I commissioned a guy to do that. It ended up being a nightmare, but yeah, that's like the center frame right there. I've had that for years now, but yeah, Tennessee Mike, piece of yarn or string or yeah, KR Joy sewing tape measure. If you wanted to like go full cheap mode, you could probably pick up one of those cheap either on Amazon or just go to your local hobby store. Miss T Hedera. I'm not sure how to say your last name. Hey Rob, big fan of the channel. Wearing the 1521 Squale in the blue. Do you have the full polished case one or the matte colored one? I like that. Do you measure in front or behind the styloid process of the wrist bone? I think depending on how you're like mine is, so mine's not very pronounced. Like it's there, but it's not pushed out. So I would probably measure right behind it. I don't think most people wear. I mean, my wrist sometimes like the watch will end up here, but like for example, let me like I don't know. My wrist is most people if that bone is so pronounced, you might have to go upstream of it because there's not going to be enough real estate from the bone to your hand. So I actually wear mine like right over it. So that's pretty much where my watch sits. Mescal's wearing his SPB 237, checking in from the Bay Area. Thoughts on Northern Michigan mini meet? Well, I have a Michigan meet planned. If you're up in Northern Michigan, somewhere closer to the Traverse City area, I've met up with some people before in the past. Like if I have time, I'll try to get in there to meet up with people. But busted out the roller, flexing. I see. No, I wore it today to work, so I don't really think I'm flexing. I think I'm just wearing a watch. Somebody asked about the Pelly. So again, like I said, my wrist. You got to keep in mind the Pelagos is it's not as large of a watch as people think, because I want to show you guys something. If you measure like here to here, it's more like 40 and a half. Now, if you measure the bezel, it's like 42, but the case is like 40 and a half. You can see how much the bezel overhangs the case. So really what's on wrist is the 40 and a half, which is really close to the same case as this. It's just this one's thicker too, but it's also titanium, so it's going to be lighter weight. And then the bracelet does this as well as this. I mean, it's The Pelly's another one that I warmed up to over time, because I think it's hard to just jump right into the Pelly. At least it was for me, because I was exposed to the Tudor Pelly a long time ago and dismissed it because I was like, it's too thick. I'm not going to deal with it, because it is on the thicker side, but it's just such a overpowered watch. It's so good. And Calico is full on lying. His wrist is not 6-inch, by the way. Teddy says Tissot website has a wrist measuring printout you can use. Interesting. So yeah, you could use paper. Yeah, I mean, you could just, and it looks like you could probably just print something out on paper that has a measurement and then cut it and then put it on wrist. Sure, why not? Nick says it's way too blue. It is definitely blue. But they have the black version too. And what if Tudor releases a new colorway in the Pelly? It could happen. It could happen. Neff says 4 of those watches are junk. So these are Neff's watches. This one is junk, unfortunately, but there's a pretty good backstory with it, and it's a bummer, but it's a hard lesson to learn. But I'm glad Neff learned it and not me. But I guess I'm not huge into ceramic watches. But let's see, Pelly's coming in orange. Mark my words. Steele says he's predicting orange dial for the Pelly. I doubt it. I thought the gray dialed Pelly would be gorgeous. Nick, that's actually a possibility. You could see some more muted colors. I don't see them doing anything bold with the Pelagos for some reason. Tudor needs to bring back the North flag. The sales dropped on it. They're not going to bring that back. When are you getting the Omega Green Seamaster to review? As soon as somebody sends it to me. Jeremy checking in from Michigan, my home state. What's up, everyone? Greetings from the Outer Banks, says NH Rick. Mr. Hector's here from Winding Crowns. Neff is giving away parts. Don't give those away. You should. You know what you need to do with those, Neff, is you need to. Let me see if I have one. Now, if you need to get one of these things from Amazon and put all the parts in here and the sandwiches in there, and then you could display it in your watch room or wherever. Don't just give them away. Nick says he is shopping around for a Tudor that moves him. Jacob checking in from Wisconsin. Retrofection wants to know what the Salmon dial watches are. This is an Islander, and this is a Zelos. Did we determine this is a Nova, I think they said? Steve Simmons is checking in. Nick was thinking that the FXD was going to be the one, but it's disappointing. Yeah, you got to go see like a bunch of them. Definitely check out the, I don't know if you've had a chance to, Nick, to check out the Black Bay GMT. I think check that out. Cowboy Swami with another super chat. He's saying, you think Seiko will use a 9F quartz in the tuna ever and make it solar? I don't think they'll ever convert the 9F into solar. That would be like a whole different movement. I don't think they're going to make... I would go on record as saying that Seiko will never turn a 9F into solar. That's just not going to happen. Now, the 9F in a tuna... I don't think they'll ever do a 9F in a tuna either, and this is why. Because that 7C46 is an awesome quartz movement, and it was designed just for the tuna And then when you get into the more expensive tunas, then that's where you get into like the spring drive. So that's your only tuna options, and I think they're going to stick with it. I don't think they'll ever alter from that. So you'll have a spring drive tuna, which will be the high end stuff, and then you'll have a bunch of different offerings in the tuna lineup for the with the 7C46. Now, could they revamp the 7C46 and come out with like a 7C86 or something like that? I could see that happening. That's more likely than putting in a 9F. Let's see. The drive is tough to get down from here from parts of the way upward. Trying to read some comments here, guys. There's a lot of conversations going back and forth. Neff. Oh, somebody mentioned on the Tudor lineup. Yeah, I would love to see a new Ranger model for sure. I think a new Ranger model would be a home run, but it also is going to compete with the Black Bay 41. You know, I think they'd have to ditch the snowflake hand and go with that traditional arrow type hand system they used on the previous Ranger. I don't know how they reinvent that, but just the watch is saying, does Seiko do any battery powered dive watches, or are they all quartz solar? Yeah, I was actually just talking about that. The main one would be the original tunas, and then even some more higher end tunas are using a battery powered quartz 7C46 movement that is non-solar. So if you haven't checked out, the entry level ones with that movement are like the SBBN series. So if you start searching those, like SBBN 031 or some of the older ones, and then there's some newer ones, I forget the numbers, like SBBN 085. Those are like the really good tunas that are 7C46 quartz. Base ETA in this 41C. So back up a second, because the other thing I want to point out, when you're dealing with Tudor, let me grab my pointer. If you buy any Tudor with the smile dial, so you see the smile dial there, the self-winding, looks like a smile, that means there's an aftermarket movement in there. That's not an in-house movement. Any Tudor with the smile self-winding on there is going to be a third-party movement. But they have recently, so when they first came out with some of these, they told you and had an ETA 2824 in them. They straight up told you that. But then I forget when they changed it, but they at some point they changed it, and they call it like their Tudor caliber or something, right? So they do go in and like clean it up a little bit, put their own rotor on it and stuff like that. But by giving themselves their own caliber name to that, much like any other manufacturer does, that opens them up to sourcing whatever movement they can. So Breitling is actually doing it too. I want to open up some Breitling watches to see what movement's in them, because they used to use 2824. I suspect they're using Sellita now. And I know for a fact that these newer Tudors have Sellitas in them. This is not going to be an ETA in here, guys. That was me talking directly to a Tudor brand rep. So if anyone wants to try to prove me wrong, I want you to do so by taking a case back off one and giving me a picture of it and proving to me that's an ETA. Otherwise, I've been told it is a Sellita. So all the newer ones are going to be Sellita if it has a smile dial. Yeah, it'll probably be SW200s, but they'll be like the higher grades. They might even buy, I don't think they advertise them as COSC, but they might buy like a Labray grade. They spec them out for whatever they're doing. This guy here is 36. Detroit Spartan wants to prove me wrong. You were there, actually, Detroit, when I found that information out. All I said is the newer Tudors with the smile dials are going to have Sellitas in them. They're not ETAs. I mean, if somebody's cool, like if if Neff is cool with me pulling this case back off to show, I will. I don't know how old. Well, it doesn't matter. Silver Dial came out later, so that's going to be newer anyway. No, they don't have NH35s in them. They're thick enough to. They could make them thinner. Time for Watches says nothing against Salida, but I want ETA when spending that Tudor money. Yeah, no. I mean, I think there's been batches of Salidas where there was issues with them, but I don't know. Calico's telling Neff not to let me do it. I'll break it. I actually have the correct toolkit to take the case backs off those, so I would not break it. Do it live. I am not doing it live. And it's under warranty. I don't want to open it up. It's under warranty. As soon as somebody says that, then I don't want to be involved. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'll go buy one myself and do it. I'm definitely not doing it live. Somebody send me one that they don't care about. Mike says you live up north? Question mark. Yes, I live up north. I'm definitely not opening it live, but we'll see. Craig G, definitely not a Salida fan. He's had multiple issues with him. I've always thought Oris was overpriced for Salidas. Rob also taught me to prefer ETA. The ETAs are not without their problems too, but when you talk to like watchmakers and stuff, then you kind of get your answer. Watchmakers will tell you the same thing. I've yet to run into a watchmaker that will tell you he'd take a Salida over an ETA. So I suspect it's not going to happen. Deej says, didn't Bruce just open one up and it was an ETA? I don't know. I can check with him. I can text him after the live stream and ask him. I imagine it depends on. So they named their caliber under a Tudor caliber name. So it gives them the opportunity. They can use Salida or ETA or whatever they want. But I got to believe their inventory is completely dried up of the ETAs by now. So pretty much anything that's relatively new should have a Salida in it. I can't see why it would have an ETA in it. No, it definitely doesn't have a Ronda in it. But they could. That's the point, because they could do that. They could put a Ronda in there. They could put a STP in there. They could put whatever they want in there because they're calling it their own caliber. So let's see. Kay says, did you ever pick up the Casio Oceanus T3000? I didn't, and I still do really like that watch, but I'm just not going to own it. He wonders how the Black Bay 41 still uses ETA. I guarantee you the newer ones are not going to have it. Blue dial, far right. This, well, it's a mint colored one. This one, this is a Trosca. Is there an ETA shortage? No, there's not an ETA shortage, but ETA is, again, the Swatch Group is trying to reserve ETA movements for their own in-house brands. So they've done this in the past, but the Swiss governing body that controls all that basically said, no, you can't do that. You need to sell them to other brands. Otherwise, the Japanese movements are going to do that, and it's going to degrade the Swiss watch enterprise. I don't know that they'll do that again, though, because I'm not sure how all that works. I'm not familiar with all that, but there's so many different Swiss movements out there, because you have more to choose from. I don't know that they'll do that. And Salida's, I think, keeping up with their demand. So Try to read some comments. I know I missed a bunch, guys. I'm sorry. Hector says he read somewhere that ETA was losing that revenue that they were used to from selling those movements, so they're going to sell outside the group again. Yeah, I don't know what happens with that. It dips in and out. So, and when you got a manufacturer the size of Tudor that are relying on those movements, then they're not going to wait for ETA or someone to catch up. They're going to jump somewhere else and do the other movements. So you could end up with batches from both brands. Tudor will not switch to a Japanese movement. Yeah, somebody asked about the Islander again. The Miyota movements are good. I don't have a problem with Miyota. There's some people might. Let me see. Oh, this one actually has a Miyota in it. So their architecture is actually really good, but their winding only goes. See, like you can see how it spins freely one way, like that. So that would be like the rotor wobble, and so it only winds in one direction. So it spins fast in the other direction. Actually, this chronograph movement, automatic chronograph movement in this big eye does the same thing. So it winds unidirectional. So I don't know if you can hear that. That's spinning because there's no drag on the spin in the non-winding direction. So it just free spins. So it spins faster and easier because there's no resistance on it. Now, if it spins the other way, then it'll wind the movement and there's drag on the rotor, so it doesn't spin as fast. Calico says, did the Random Rob Special Edition watch sell out? Yes, it did sell, all 50 of them. Alberto's asking, what is my take on the Formex? I like Formex watches in general, but this one right here is really cool because they went to the more affordable, more approachable side. And I think that's really going to help people draw into the brand and understand how good they are. And then maybe you could move up from there. So this is a really good combination, and I can't say enough about this leather strap. Like, I know it's not the watch, but it helps with the experience, because when you end up getting a watch that is going to live on a strap and the strap sucks from day one, it kind of turns you off on it a little bit. So when you have one that has a really good strap, it's just a good pairing. It just works really well, and that's the case with that particular one. Somebody asked if I still like the Longines. Absolutely love this watch. It is such a rich color. I did see, I don't know if it's sold or not, but somebody in my Discord was selling this exact same watch for like a crazy good deal. I want to say like 2,200 bucks or something. That's a good deal. So if anybody's looking for one of these, and if he still has it, hit me up. You can email me and I can check with him, see if he still has it. It's the full kit. He bought it from an authorized dealer just like I did, but it's the titanium petroleum dial. It's grade 5 titanium. Just such a killer watch. MillerVon.tv. Rob, do the new Breitling Avenger 2s have stamp dials? Thinking of buying one, but the dial is a letdown compared to the otherwise beautiful watch. Man, I can't remember. I already sold my Avenger, so. Let's see. Petroleum dial. Hey, David Williams is here. Try to read a couple comments here. Axios Pathfinder has a nice salmon dial. Not as nice as the Zelos you showed earlier. That Zelos dial is just amazing. Are meteorite dials not popular anymore? Ask Peter. I think they're still popular. Just like anything else, like the bronze watches, you can kind of like get meteorite dial fatigue sort of thing. They were big in the micro brands. So I see Zelos actually just released a new meteorite dial limited edition watch, but it's not a standard meteorite dial. I don't know how he did it. It's like chunked up or something. It's really weird. George A says he misses the good old Breitling Colt. Do they still make those? I think they do. Colton, Rob, what is your thoughts on the Seiko 7A? Is that the older quartz chronograph movements? I can't remember. Trying to read some comments. I thought the new Zelos had a titanium dial. Was it? I didn't think so. Do you think the MRG squares are with the price point? I don't know what that question means. Are you asking, do I think Nilo says the Colt has been discontinued? That sucks. The Colt is so good. Calico wanted to see that. The Air King. Okay. Do I think the MRG squares are worth the price? Listen, they can't, G-Shock cannot launch an MRG and have a price point of, say, I mean, because what are the regular titanium ones, like $1,700? And I know everyone thinks those are overpriced, but they do okay, even with discount. Say you get one for like 15, 6 or 13, $1,500, something like that, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you can't have the MRG come out and only have it like $2,500. They have to price it where it is because of what it is and the materials they used. So is it worth the $3,500 or the $4,000? No. I mean, if we're going to talk like value for what you're getting, you can buy a $40 G-Shock. Like it gets a little complicated. So if you're a G-Shock fanboy, and yeah, the regular MRGs are less, you're right, but they used like special titaniums and everything. They went like pretty crazy with it. So could they have priced it less? Yeah, I'm sure they could. Oh, okay, Tennessee Mike. I was off. I don't know why I was thinking meteorite dial. It's crystallized titanium dial. I don't even know what that means or how you do that, but that's crazy looking. So, yeah, I don't know. The thing is the people that are going to buy those MRGs at first of all, most people are not going to pay 3,500 and $4,000. They're going to pay less than that. Guaranteed, they're going to pay less than that. So, but the people that are going to buy those can afford those. It's not like people are going to like stretch to get those. They're going to be guys that have been fascinated with the G-Shock squares for a very long time, and then they're super fanboys and they have more disposable cash and they're probably going to pick it up, excluding like people that just have more money than they know what to do with, which isn't the norm. Wilson says 2-minute warning. Thank you very much. A polished. I'll have to go on Zelos's website. I need to email him too and check with him on that. Cowboy Swami says G-Shock has to recreate a better movement for that price. Also, it would have been cool to see them do the MIP display. If they would have done a reconfigured movement, I agree with you, and did like this display in the MRG, but I don't think they can do this display and have it solar. So I don't know. But they're Casio G-Shock. They can figure it out, right? They can do whatever they want. I saw the MRG. Jason had one. The finishing is worth the price. It really is. Yeah, Naf says the finishing is stunning. It seriously is. But it is a grip load of money. And no, I mean, initially they're going to take a huge hit on those when you go to sell those. Those MRGs are not going to hold their value unless they only make like a very, very, very small amount. Retrofection says, surprise Rob doesn't have a Panerai. I've come close to buying a Panerai before. All right, we're coming up on the hour, so. 2EDC says, just watched all your G-Shock videos. Thank you. Gonna pick up the GW5000. Should I get a combi bracelet or will it nicer? The rubber strap on the GW5000 is actually a little bit softer and more supple than the other standard ones. I think you might be surprised how good that is, but that watch could potentially feel a little top heavy at sometimes. I didn't have a problem with it, but give it a try. If you can find a combi bracelet for it, go ahead and pick it up. It is a bugger to put on that watch, but the combi bracelet will transform that watch. But you got to get the older style combi bracelet, I think, to get it to fit. And I don't know how difficult those are to find. Mr. CM Colon 1 says Rob is a Breitling guy. I'm 100% a Breitling guy. I love my Breitlings. Favorite 4th gen monster colorway? I don't know. I don't know that I'm a huge 4th gen monster kind of guy. Tom for watches with a late $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. George A is out for the night. Been a pleasure. Good night. Yeah, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna shut it down right now. Actually, myself. I got other things to do. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it for joining. Let's see what kind of loom we have on the table. Ooh, that one kind of sparked a little bit. Islander is actually glowing pretty good. Dorenzo's good. The Zelos with very weak loom. Tudor's awesome. Formex is loomed up very good. And as I suspected, the Atticus is a full loom dial, elevating my like for this watch even more. Atticus did a really good job. Of course, the Pelly's got a full loom dial and everything, or a bezel next to that. So yeah, great watches, guys. I'll see you on the next vid. Thanks for watching.